Hi everyone. I hope I'm audible. So today we are going to discuss about all the locations. You know how important these locations are. Basically, you need to write the exact location here. So all locations of biology in one shot we are going to discuss. That is related to term 2 of class 10. So in that case, the locations from circulatory system, locations from excretory system, locations from nervous system, including the sense organs, and the locations from the endocrine system. So let's have a look at these. So before that, let me introduce myself. I am Vani Kari, biology educator at Unacademy. I'm an engineer with bachelor's and master's degree in biotechnology and a B.Ed degree. Also a founder of a startup where I grow microgreens by vertical farming technology. So let me just check. Yeah, I'm audible, right? Okay. So join with us in Telegram for homework and class notes. You can join the channel Vani Kari ICSE Class 10 Biology. What you can do is I can send you this PDF. Okay, so I'll make a PDF of this one and send it on this channel. So you can just search this channel, that is Vani Kari ICSE Class 10 Biology. And okay, so the previous one also I said I'll send it. So I'll make a PDF by tomorrow. I'll send it. Okay. So now Telegram channel, that is Unacademy ICSE and ISC both. So you can join this one. The link you will find in the description box. Okay, so this you will find in the description box. So Unacademy free special class feature, so we call them as special classes because there is again you have a live real-time interaction using the chat and the emojis, so same as that of YouTube. So ask questions using the question tab. So there is an option where you can separately you can ask a question, because when a lot of students are there, so there is a chance that your question might get lost. So in that case, you can use a question tab where you can attach an image, type in your question, send it to the educator during a live session. They'll be getting a notification and they'll be clearing your doubts. Okay. So now live poll options for the quiz is also available, and after the quiz is done, okay, so we will be sharing the leaderboard so that you can know your ranks and compete with your friends. So now Unacademy subscription features, so you can learn live from the comfort of your home. So unlimited access to all the courses will be there. Top educators of India are going to take the class in one platform, that is Unacademy platform. Regular doubt clearing session will be there. The complete syllabus will be covered. Mentorship and guidance is given. Study material is given. Practice test is given. Live test series and batch courses. Okay. So daily practice section is also there. Weekly mock test series, live quizzes, daily MCQ. So once you go for the subscription, so you can take a benefit of all of it. Hi. Hello. Good evening. Okay, so there is all these benefits you can take. So you can also level up with Vani Kari. So you can use the code Vani YT. Okay, so this is my referral code Vani YT. So with this referral code, basically you can unlock the courses that are available. So we are starting a term 1 syllabus also, that is for those who are entering just class 10. So for them, the term 1 syllabus also we are starting. We have already started it on the special class, but the batches are coming soon. Okay. So now Unacademy plus subscription pricing. So if you are planning to take a subscription, so if you just want to try how exactly this works, so you can go with 3-month subscription as the offer is going on. Okay. So I'll tell you about that. Or otherwise, if you are planning to complete your class 10 with Unacademy, so you can go with the 12 months also. So 12-month subscription you can take. Okay, so in that case, there is a offer, and offer is last date is today itself. So instead of 7,500, so basically on usage of a code, that is Vani YT. Okay, so this is my referral code. So with this referral code you will be getting, one second. 40% discount, that is instead of 7,500 you will be paying just 4,500. Okay, so all the locations are taken from your workbook, that is basically together with and Oswal publication as well. Hi Ranveer, hi Divya, good evening. Okay, so let's get started. So now from the circulatory system, so let's have a look at the location. Before I say this one, okay, so make sure that you are writing the exact location. Okay, so what is the meaning of this one? So exact location meaning here is you are writing the same sentence as it is given in your textbook. Okay, so I keep saying this always with respect to location. So you know they'll always look at the keywords, so whether you have included the important keywords or not, so that is important. So now you know you are saying certain things. So at the junction between the right auricle and the right ventricle, so there is actually the tricuspid wall. So based on, so now at the junction, so that is the keyword. So you are anyway writing right auricle, right ventricle. So basically include the keyword, write the exact location as it is mentioned in your textbook. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. So now this one is taken from together with, okay, so the referral book which you have, I mean if you have you can refer this. So even if you do not have, just practice or make a list of all the locations that are there and go on practicing. Okay, hi Aditya, good evening. Hi Anushri, good evening. Okay, hi Janvi. All right, so now you can see this. Yes, anybody wants to write the location of caudate tendinae, bicuspid valve or a mitral valve, tricuspid valve, then pulmonary semilunar valve, and yes, AN. What is yes, AN? So this question, caudate tendinae, so you might think that some of you don't notice this location which is given in your circulatory system. So make sure that this is there. Okay, so I'll just explain you where exactly it is present. So caudate tendinae is there, which is holding on to the papillary muscle and regulate the opening of tricuspid as well as the bicuspid valve. Okay, so now this question was asked in the year 2016 as well as 2012. So that means it is important, so twice it has come. Okay, so bicuspid valve, tricuspid valve also, so these two are again important because these are previously asked. Make sure that you are writing all the locations correctly. So semilunar valve, that is again with respect to pulmonary, so they can also ask aortic semilunar valve. Okay, so whether they are asking a aortic one, whether they are asking a pulmonary one, so make sure that you are writing the exact location for pulmonary as well as a aortic. Okay, so now yes, AM, that is sinoatrial node. Yes, anybody knows the location? So coordinate is located between the, so caudate tendinae are mentioning, right? So it is located between the right ventricle and the papillary muscle. It is actually regulating, so where exactly it is present? So it is between the valves which are there and the papillary muscle. That means you know, now let's say this is a ventricle. Okay, so these two are ventricles now. So in ventricles you can find this papillary muscle. Okay, and here let's say there is this tricuspid valve. So this is now a auricle. So now tricuspid valve is here. Okay, so this is a 3 flap you find it. So now you know these cuspid valves are held in position with the papillary muscle there. So now this lines or these structures what you see, so these are the caudate tendinae. So on this side also it will be same. Okay, so now this is between the, okay, you are answering, Prashant is answering about bicuspid valve or a mitral valve between the left auricle and the ventricle. So yes, that's what I was saying. Make sure that you are writing the same sentence as it is given in your textbook. Okay, so in general you are saying that's right. So between the left ventricle, left auricle, what you are saying, so that is right. So in your textbook they have given an exact location, like you know, at the junction between, so those keywords that you need to include. Okay, so now ventricle between, okay, you are saying about the ventricle, caudate tendinae. All right, so you just can't mention one word there. So let's have a look at these answers. SAN is sinoatrial node. They are near the superior vena cava. Yes, that's right. So opening of the superior vena cava. Okay, so that is below that. All right. So between right auricle and right ventricle. So let's have a look at this one. The first one is caudate tendinae. So right atrioventriculars and ventricular walls are held by the caudate tendinae. So now now you can see. So it is right also, left also. So you can write based on that. So right and left also you can mention. So in that case, here on this side there is a bicuspid wall and here it is a tricuspid wall. So now these thread-like structures what you see, which are holding on to these papillary muscles in the ventricle, which will regulate the opening and closing of the bicuspid as well as the tricuspid wall. So now this one is a caudate tendinae. So this is held by that. Now what exactly is the bicuspid wall? So it is between the left auricle and then the left ventricle. So this is given in your together with, but make sure that you are following the location that they have given in the Selena. Okay, so Selena location you try to write like as much as possible, because they expect you to write the keywords. Okay, so they have not given it as such, like they'll mention at the junction between. So make sure that you are including the keywords or the exact location which is given in your Selena. So make sure that you are writing. Okay, so now whatever you have said, that is right with respect to in general when we are writing. So now tricuspid valve. So this is between the right atrium and then the right ventricle. Okay, so now next location, which was that pulmonary semilunar valve. So it is at the opening of the right ventricle into the pulmonary artery. So there is a pulmonary artery that arises which is at the right ventricle. Okay, so now this is the opening of the pulmonary artery. So here we can find the pulmonary semilunar valve. Okay, so then there is SAN. So where it is located? So it is located in the walls of the right auricle. Okay, all right. So SAN opening, okay, so between right auricle and right ventricle. Yes, so you want to see these questions also, so you can have a look at these questions. Okay, and then you can have a look at these. Alright, so moving on to the next one. I hope everything is clear for you. So now when we mention about the heart, okay, so now this is a heart that you will be drawing. Okay, so in that case, this is actually the pericardium. So you will draw a muscular covering which is there. Okay, so now here is this tricuspid wall. Okay, so this is a tricuspid wall and here you can find a bicuspid wall. Okay, so papillary muscle is over here. All right, so now caudate tendinae is holding on to these papillary muscles over here. Okay, so now SAN they have asked. So this is the location of caudate tendinae. So this is the location of tricuspid valve. This is the location of bicuspid valve, and here you can find a SAN. Okay, so this is SAN sinoatrial node. This one is AVN. Okay, so this is AVN. Then you can find a bundle of His over here. So this is a bundle of His which is actually dividing towards the right side and left side again, which is again from here arises the Purkinje fibers. So there are Purkinje fibers that are arising from this one. So these smaller fibers what you see, so those are Purkinje fibers. Okay, I hope all these are there. So now sinoatrial node location, so you can have a look at. This is basically myocardium of the right atrium of the heart, bicuspid wall between left atrium and the left ventricle. So this is the answer that I'm showing. So now there is pulmonary vein. So some of the question papers have asked about the pulmonary vein also. So this arises from the lungs and pours blood into the left auricle. Okay, so left auricle is receiving a oxygenated blood there. Okay, so next is bundle of His. So it is in the interventricular septum. So somebody said septum here, right? So this is basically at the septum. So now you know this is interventricular. So now this is a ventricle, this is a ventricle. So between the ventricle, to see the between the ventricle, so what term we are using? So it is the interventricular septum is where we find this bundle of His. Okay. So next is semilunar wall. So this is located in the artery. So you can just basically, here the pulmonary artery is there, here the aorta is there. So aorta is also a artery. So we can find. So if when they are just like, you know, in general they are asking where exactly semilunar valve is present. So you can just write this one. So if they are specifically asking pulmonary semilunar wall and aortic semilunar wall, then you need to mention the right ventricle as well as the left ventricle. So there you can find a pulmonary artery. So in left ventricle you find a aorta. Okay. So now spleen, above the stomach. So spleen also has been asked. So above the stomach in the in the left upper quadrant of the abdomen, hepatic portal vein. So this is between the alimentary canal and the liver. So you know, any excess amount of nutrient that is there, so from alimentary canal it has to be taken to the liver. So now this vein which is there between the digestive system and the liver, so that we call as a hepatic portal vein. So this hepatic portal vein is very important, as in, you know, any excess amount of nutrients that you have consumed. So let's say glucose you have consumed too much, so glycogen formation will occur in the liver. So let's say you have taken lots of protein. Okay, so in that case excess amount of amino acid protein breakdown product is amino acid. So amino acid is not stored in our body. So what will happen? Amino acid is converted into urea. So urea formation will occur in the liver itself. That is because hepatic portal vein is carrying this excess amount. Okay. So moving on to excretory system. Yes, and you want to see. So this is sinoatrial node. Okay. So it is in the wall of the right atrium of the heart. All right. So moving on to the excretory system. Hi, Anubhav. Okay. So now the excretory system, so state the location with respect to excretory system. So kidneys, okay. So where exactly do you find a kidney? So this is along the posterior abdominal wall on either side of the vertebral column, okay. So this is not on the front side, so you can see that it is on either side of the vertebral column, that is at the back. So there is a backbone, okay, or vertebral column. So that is on either side you can find these kidneys. So some of them usually show it in the front. So it is not actually the ventral side. It is the dorsal side, okay. So along the posterior abdominal wall on either side of the vertebral column, you can find a kidney. So this is a kidney location. Now medulla of a kidney. So what is medulla of a kidney? Remember the structure of kidney. So now this one is a cross section. Just a second, I'll draw it. So now this is a cross section of a kidney. Okay. So in that case, this outer part which is there, so this is actually the cortex region. Okay. This over here is the medulla region. So in medulla region you find these pyramids. Okay. So now what they have asked, medulla of a kidney that they have asked. So in the cortex of kidney or in the inner lighter region. So this is not in the cortex, so it is outside the cortex, like now this is the cortex, so this is on the inner side, not outside, inner side of the cortex. So that is in the cortex, in the sense not completely inside the cortex. Inner side of the cortex of a kidney you can find this medulla region, or on the inner lighter region of the kidney. So now this portion what you see, so this is actually the medulla region. Okay, so at medulla region you can find the pyramids. Okay, so now urinary bladder that they have asked. So where exactly is urinary bladder? So let's have a look here. So now this is a ureter. Okay, so ureter from both the kidneys it is projecting. All right, so now here you can find a urinary bladder. So this is now a urinary bladder, which urinary bladder opening is regulated by the sphincter muscle there. Okay, So now what exactly is the location? So it lies in the pelvic region of the abdomen. So now this is the pelvic area. Okay, so that is lower abdominal area. What is that? So that we call as the pelvic region. So I think you have studied about skeletal system already. So there is abdominal area, pelvic girdle you have studied, right? So that pelvic area itself you can find the urinary bladder. So function of different WBC. Yes, I have already taken this session, Anubhav. So you can watch the recording. I think all functions in one go. I have done one session. So in that it is there. So you can just rewatch that. Or otherwise, I have taken a circulatory system session also. So in there also I have explained about that. Okay. So complete functions of all the different WBCs I have explained there. Okay. So this is on the inner part. Yes. So now here this is on the inner part. So in the cortex they have mentioned. So you can just write inner part or inner part of a kidneys when we mention. So that is where you can find this one. So in the cortex a lot of people will get confused that it is inside a cortex completely, not inside the cortex, inner side of the cortex it is, okay, or inner part or inner side of a cortex, you can consider that. Okay, so moving on to the next one, the nervous system and sense organs. Okay, so I'll go with the next one. Just a second. Okay, so now nervous system and sense organs. So state the location. So you need to know the every alternate names that are given for each and every part in any of these chapters. Okay, so now you can find this yellow spot here. Okay, so it is not just called as a yellow spot. So it is also called as a macula lutea. Okay, so this is a macula lutea as well. So they'll ask you a location of macula lutea. So then you keep thinking that what exactly is this one. Okay, so make sure that you are writing, I mean you know every alternate names that are mentioned. So this is also called as a fovea centralis. So they can ask you to write the location of a fovea centralis as well. So it is basically, the meaning is that yellow spot which is found at the center of the retina. So this is near the center, like this one is the retina now. So it is completely like somewhat nearer to the center itself. We can find this yellow spot, and yellow spot when we mention, so it is having more of cones. Okay, so cones are more and the rods are very less in that. Okay, so moving on to this one, the node of Ranvier. What exactly is node of Ranvier? Anybody? Where do you find the node of Ranvier? So medullated neuron or myelinated neuron we can mention. So instead of a medullated neuron, okay, so this is myelinated neuron. So we can use the term myelinated neuron here. So the meaning is that, so now node of Ranvier is here. So now I'll just draw it and explain. So let's say this is an cell body. Okay, so this is an axon now. So here you can find this myelin sheath. Okay, so this is a myelin sheath. Covering this myelin sheath, what do you find? So there is a neurolemma which is covering this myelin sheath now. Okay, so wherever this myelin sheath is not there, okay, so this is now a myelin sheath. Wherever myelin sheath is not there, so here the junction formation you can see. So this node formation you can see. So these gaps, what are them? So these nodes are called as the node of Ranvier, which is actually named after a scientist who discovered it. That is a Ranvier. Okay, so in that case, now this is a myelin sheath here. Wherever myelin sheath is not there, so this one is a gap which is there. So that gap where you call, which is present, so that is called as a node of Ranvier. Then corpus callosum. So where do you find a corpus callosum? Hi Saurabh, good evening. So where do you find a corpus callosum? Anybody has any idea on this one? So lot of students get confused between corpus callosum and corpus luteum as well. The corpus callosum comes under nervous system, corpus luteum comes under reproductive system. Okay. uh, Hi Akash, thank you, thank you. Okay, so this is between cerebral hemisphere. Very good. So you know cerebral hemispheres, what are they? Where shall I draw? Here I'll draw. Okay, so now this is a cerebrum. Okay, so here you find a sheath like this. So this is a sheath. So this is called as a corpus callosum. So now this side is a right side cerebrum. Okay, so this is the left side cerebrum. So now the information from right side and the left side, so basically information from here should go here, the information from here should go here. Okay, so you know the transferring of information from right cerebral hemisphere to the left one, from left to the right, so this is done through the corpus callosum, which is basically a sheath. So in that case, so it is near the center of the brain, which basically transfers the information from right cerebral hemisphere to the left cerebral hemisphere. So meninges are there. So these are covering of a brain as well as the spinal cord. So in that case, we will just see this one. Okay, so now our brain is here. So let's say this is a brain and here is this cerebellum part, a pons is here and this is the medulla oblongata. Okay, so now you know the pia mater is covering. So innermost layer is pia mater, next layer is arachnoid, next layer is dura mater. So these three layers, what are they? So these three layers are called as the meninges. Okay, so meninges are the coverings that are there for a brain as well as a spinal cord. That means it is not just covering, it will continue down to the spinal cord also. So here the spinal cord is it, so it will continue down to the spinal cord as well. Okay, so in the central canal which is there in the spinal cord, so there the CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid is there. So now between these layers there is a cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so which will act as a lubricant. So now you know cerebellum, they have asked. Any doubts you guys have? Are you all understanding? When is the classes of fresh class 10 starting? So it is I think after April only we will start. Okay, so not so sure yet. Anyway, if anything like that I get to know, I'll inform about that. Okay, so three layers covering the brain, spinal cord. So between it, yes, so cerebrospinal fluid will be there. Yes, very good, Divya. Okay, so now cerebellum. So this is in the hindbrain. Then there is ganglia. What is ganglia? Remember or don't know this one? What exactly is ganglia? How girls are excellent in biology? Why boys are also excellent? I have found many boys also who are excellent in biology. So it's not that only girls. Okay, so anyway, so girls are also good in biology. Okay, so yes, cerebellum. Okay, so this we discussed. The ganglia, when we mention about the ganglia is basically the cyton. So now this is a cyton group here. Okay, so group of cytons are called as a ganglia. Okay, so now now this is a ganglia. So this whole structure which is there, so this is called as a ganglion. Okay, so arising from each one of these, so there is a nerve fiber that is arising from each of these, or an axon that is arising from each one of these. So now this is covered by a tubular sheath. So this is called as a nerve, which mainly contains a group of axon, a group of cyton when it is there, so that we call as a ganglion. Okay, so ganglion is actually a singular term. So now if many as such, so if many group are there, okay, so like let's say there is many groups. So this is one group here, so this is one group, so those are called as a ganglia. So this is a plural term. Okay, ganglia is a plural term. For only one we call it as a ganglion. Okay, so now lacrimal gland or the tear gland, so above the lateral end of the eye, so this portion, so this is the lateral end, so on this side also it is towards the lateral end, you can find the lacrimal gland. So iris, this is in the eye behind the cornea, so you can see that the cornea is here. Okay, so when you are writing about the iris, so you can just say that it is extension of a choroid itself, from extension of a choroid is forming a ciliary body, so ciliary body is further extended to form a iris also, that also you can write, or behind, you can also write in the eye behind the cornea, because here you find this iris, this part is a pupil, and here you can find a lens. Okay, so this lens is held in position by a suspensory ligament, and then a ciliary body is present over here. Okay, so now this part what you see, so this is exactly the iris part what you see. Okay, so next location, yellow spot, so this we discuss. Organ of Corti, so where do you find the organ of Corti? So I'll explain this one, just a second. So it is functional unit of autonomic nervous system. Yes, that's right. And both YT and special classes. So special classes, anyway, we have started already. Like I have already taken session on genetics, session on structure of DNA, sex-linked inheritance. I think one more class I need to take maybe. Okay, so we have already started on special classes, but YT sessions we have not yet started. Please do a video on a case based question. I have done so many case based questions on every chapter, so you can watch the recording which is available on YouTube itself. So I have done on every chapter. Like you want me to do more questions from circulatory system or maybe all the chapters again, I can do that. So we can do more questions, or I can do one thing, previous year questions from each chapter, I'll bring next time. Okay, hi Janvi, good evening. Okay, so now here in this case, I was discussing about the organ of Corti. So let's say this is actually the cochlea part. Okay, so this cochlea is inner, like it is winding. Okay, so now at one part you find there is a basilar membrane. Okay, so now let's say here is the basilar membrane which is there. Okay, so it is not exactly where it is present, but inside a cochlea you find. So let's say this is a basilar membrane on to which you can find these hair like cells. So basically a hair arises from here. So these are actually the organ of Corti which are connecting. So this is the organ of Corti which is nothing, which is again connecting the auditory nerve. That means the message or impulse is taken to the brain via auditory nerve. Okay, so that is how we are able to hear things. So that is mainly because the cochlea is having a sensory cell which can sense the fluid movement, because you know that in the cochlea you can find endolymph as well as perilymph. So there is a perilymph also, endolymph also. So now let's say this is the canal. Okay, so now you can find a partition as such. So column, let's say this is the column now. Okay, so now this is 1, 2 and 3. So 1 and 3 will have a perilymph. Okay, so the second one, what is there? So this will have a endolymph. So based on the movement, so as the endolymph is having a basilar membrane and sensory cells are located here, so as the movement of a fluid occurs here, you can hear the things. Okay, so next is eustachian. Okay, pinna, it is side of the head, that is towards the face. So you need not write this sentence anyway, usually they won't ask pinna. So even if they are asking, just have a look at the statement which is given in your textbook. Okay, so don't write this one anyway. Okay, so I'll just scratch this one. This is not exactly the side of the head or face, we do not write it like that. So exact location needs to be written. So now eustachian tube between the middle ear and the pharynx. Now semicircular canal, so this is in the internal ear itself we find the utriculus, sacculus. Then semicircular canal we can find in the what is it called, the internal ear itself, or an inner ear. Okay, so you can just write it as a inner ear also, not internal ear. Inner ear is better term. Okay, so now incus, when we mention, so it is the middle bone of the three bones of the ear ossicle, which is connected to malleus on one end, and the other end is basically connected to the stapes. Okay, and is present in the middle ear of the human beings. So endocrine system. Hi Navdeep. Okay, so endocrine system, we will have a location. One second. So before, like, I said all of this over here, so you can have a look at this one, but make sure that you are writing the locations from your textbook. Okay, so locations from your textbook, I have made a list. Okay, so location from your textbook, exact location which is given in a textbook, so that I have made a list. It is actually a handwritten. Okay, so that I'll send on my channel, that is Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10. So you can join that channel. I'll be sending it today itself because I have that picture. Okay, so all the location list I can send it there. Okay, so now from endocrine system, the thyroid gland. So thyroid gland at the base of the larynx. So here is the larynx. So at the base of a larynx you can find a thyroid gland. Adrenal gland, so this is at the top of each kidney. Okay, so where exactly do you find the adrenal gland? So now this is a kidney. Okay, so on top of kidney you can find the adrenal gland. So there is the adrenal gland over here, the larynx, the Adam's apple, what we call. So this is here, and surrounding this larynx, or at just at the base of the larynx, this thyroid gland is present. Okay, so now pancreas, this is between the stomach and the duodenum, you can find a pancreas. Then prostate gland, so in that case it is at the base of the urinary bladder. So this is basically this one you will study in reproductive system, but for you anyway, in endocrine system they have not mentioned about that, so you can just keep this one, because for term 2 anyway reproductive system is not there, so you can just skip this one. The pancreas, when we mention, so it is basically between the stomach and the duodenum it is present. Now the pituitary gland, so this is at the base of the brain. Okay, so at the base of the brain, or it is basically hanging from the hypothalamus. So there is a hypothalamus. Okay, so from hypothalamus this pituitary gland is hanging from there, having actually the anterior lobe of pituitary and posterior lobe of pituitary is there. Okay, so now they can ask you how many lobes are there in a pituitary, that is in case of humans. Okay, so how many lobes are there? Yes, anybody knows how many lobes do we find in pituitary gland? So now this one is a pituitary gland which is hanging from the hypothalamus. Okay, so this is the hypothalamus now. So how many lobes you can find in a pituitary gland? Any idea on this one? Maybe a slight timing lag is there, I guess. No idea? So 2 lobes we usually write, but in your textbook there is one more lobe that they have mentioned, intermediate lobe. Okay, so in case of humans this intermediate lobe is absent. Okay, so this was there earlier but now it is absent, so we can just write that 2 lobes are there, that is one is posterior and the anterior. So you need to know the different hormonal secretions from there, but or otherwise usually in other organisms, not humans, the other animals when we talk of, so other animals can have 3 lobes there. Okay, so posterior, intermediate and anterior lobe will be there. In humans, so lot of times the question has been asked like how many lobes do you find in a pituitary gland? Just write 2 lobes, because intermediate lobe is completely absent, so it is negligible, so we can just write 2 lobes are there, that is anterior and a posterior one. Okay, so we think, I think yeah, so now this is an assignment that you can take if you wish. You can send it on my channel also, that is Vani Kari ICSE. So this is my Telegram channel, Vani Kari ICSE. Class 9, and I'll send this one. Okay, so I'll send the PDF of this one on my channel. So this is class 9 and 10, so you can search it on Telegram. Okay, so I'll send the PDF of this one. It's better you just for reference you can keep this PDF. I'll send a handwritten notes of all the locations which is given from your textbook, so that you can refer and you can join in there. Okay, so you can search this one in Telegram. So I'll send the handwritten locations today itself. The PDF I'll send by tomorrow. Okay, so now okay, so before I end the session, as also up, I need to take one more session. Okay, so you can take up the mock test series that are happening. So that is basically for ICSE as well as ISE class 10 and 12. So you can enroll for this, and you will find the link in the description for mock test series for ICSE class 10. So this is time is 5 p.m. onwards. So biology mock test on Saturday, maths mock test on Sunday, physics mock test on Monday, and chemistry mock test on Tuesday. Okay, so this is a various batch. It is all subject batch again. So this has already started on March 16. If you are planning to take the subscription for class 10, today you can go for the subscription. So if you are planning to take just 3 month subscription, you can use my referral code VANIYT to get 40% discount, as the offer is going on for 3 months. Or otherwise, if you are planning to take for 12 months, you can go with the same discount. Okay, so now these are the regular batches which have which is started. So now this is in English. So it is a champions batch. All the subjects are covered here as well. So bugs bounty, opportunity for all learners to report any inappropriate content in the video. So be the first one to report a particular issue to claim your prize. Report any inappropriate content using the form in the description. So how you can watch my special classes. So those who are new here, okay, so for them I think this is getting stuck. Am I audible? I think I'm audible. All right. So how to watch my special classes? So download the Unacademy Learner app. Open the app and click on get started. Enter your mobile number and OTP. So sign up using the email ID. Okay. So this is your email ID that you need to sign. Once you do that, it will show you this competitive exam and class 6 to 12. So you can select class 6 to 12, and then you can choose your category. So there is ICSE category also that is available. So you can choose your category, class 9, 10, or maybe if it is ISE, you can choose class 11 as well as 12. Okay, so which language you prefer to learn? So you can go with the English, Hindi, or a English. So all these languages are available. So based on your language preference, in which language you want to learn or which you are comfortable with, so you can join that session. So basically you can understand in those session. So this year batches, different batches in different languages are available. So then go to the description of this video, click on the special class link, click on notify me, and you will get notified 10 minutes before the class begins. You can also use my code VANIYT. Okay, so this is my code. With this code you can unlock many free products that are available on Unacademy, and also you can basically to get the subscription, so 10% you are getting, so 10% discount or off you are getting on the subscription with this referral code. Okay, so thank you all. Then click on bell icon to get notified about the classes. So you can also subscribe to our channel, that is Unacademy, ICSE and ISE both. Like and share the video. So download the Unacademy Learner app. The PDF anyway I'll send it on my group. Okay, so you can check out this PDF. Okay, I'll send it there. Okay, so see you all in the next session then. I hope you guys have any doubt. I think this is disconnected. Okay, so no problem. All right, so now this is showing. All right. Okay. All right then. So see you all in the next session. So next session I'll try to come up with give reasons. One more session which is there. So I'll try to come up with give reasons from all the questions. Okay. I mean all the chapters, not all the questions. All the chapters. So we can do that, and previous year question papers also I'll try to solve. Okay. So see you all then. Bye bye everyone. Take care. Thank you so much.